Today we're on the Mariner of the Seas.
No, we're on deck 4. We're on deck 4.
It's deck 4 of the Mariner of the Seas, and it's our first time back on the ship in over a decade as we kick off a new 5-night cruise out of Port Canaveral. This was January of 2022, so it's our first cruise of the year. And since we've just set foot on the ship, it's the time-honored tradition to head up to deck number 11 for the Windjammer to hit the buffet for lunch.
Don't worry about that on Scarlet Lady. Remember that?
Yeah.
We just got on.
True.
So the whole doors closing, doors opening, doors closing, doors opening, doors closing, doors opening. We had that through the entire cruise, and it was kind of interesting because it seems like I remember in previous cruises that the elevator would play music or something, I thought. But now we have this automated voice, and it was only a 5-night cruise, but by the end of the cruise, we were kind of sick of the voice. So we found out quickly in Mariner of the Seas that they are not doing appointments to get into the Windjammer, at least not when it's sort of reduced capacity. And then this particular cruise, it was less than 50%, so no reservations needed, but they are scanning everybody in and everybody out. And because at this point we had just gotten on the ship, we did not have the SeaPass card yet because you get those when you get into your stateroom, and we had not hit that point yet. So we had to dig out of our backpacks our actual set sail pass, the printed piece of paper that they gave us at the check-in back in the terminal so that they could scan us into the Windjammer for lunch.
6536. We have 4. What? Yeah, we have 6536 and 6538. 2 and 6536. And 2 and 6538.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. And another time-honored tradition of the buffet and the Windjammer is the washi-washi. This process is all new, got new equipment, especially from what we saw in August of 2021 in the Adventure of the Seas, because this one is a little bit easier to use. The one that they had on the Adventure of the Seas was all contained into one thing, and you had to put your hands in certain places to get soap, certain places to get water, certain place to get air. Whereas here it's a little bit more straightforward. You'll notice the paper towels instead of doing the air, which may not be quite as eco-friendly, but it's certainly easier to use because it's quick to just grab a couple of those, dry your hands, and you're done. The one thing about these we noticed is that a couple of them were a little bit more picky than others in terms of getting the sensor to acknowledge your hand and start flowing the water. So I don't know if that's something that they just have to adjust, but we sort of learned throughout the cruise, like as soon as we would come into the Windjammer, we would go to certain ones because we knew that those were faster than the other ones. Thank you. So with the Mariner of the Seas and the Windjammer, you have Chops Grill to your right, and you have Jamie's Italian to your left as you're coming in. We didn't eat at either one of them, and I did not go inside either one of them to record any footage. They don't look like they're that big in terms of size inside there, and it just didn't seem like anything worth getting video. I was mostly just concerned about being able to show like what they are and where they are on the ship. It's always cool to come onto a new ship or a ship that you haven't been on in a long time, especially since it's gone through dry dock and the amplification. And you go through the ship and you start noticing like changes or new features or whatever on this particular ship from the last ship that you were on, which in our case was August of 2021 Adventure of the Seas. And the Windjammer on the Mariner of the Seas was very similar but different. And so it was kind of cool to come into it the first time and start noticing some of the differences in terms of the physical layout, the distribution of the food, like where they had certain things in this Windjammer versus the last one that we were on about 6 months ago.